The work here is nothing strange for me. I have a wonderful team of officers who are committed and dedicated to the work that they are required to do. So it makes my task a little easier to manage them.
She comes in at a time when the pandemic is taking center stage. Lockdowns and curfews, the order of the day.
While we see that our numbers are not as high as usually would have been, we use this time to look at cases that we've not solved as yet. We use this time to go through those files and prepare or see how best we can solve those matters, what information we can get. We use this time to go into the community and talk with people so that when we form our relationships out there, and should things happen, we know that we can go back into the communities. So not only do you see the uniform officers going into the communities, officers from the Criminal Investigation Department do the very same thing.
Every major crime is investigated in this department.
Consists of homicide, investigations, armed robberies, shootings that do not result in death, sexual offenses, missing and exploited persons, human trafficking department, stolen vehicle department. We are also here responsible, like I said, for every file, every major file. So we have the voluntary bill of indictment section. Those officers are required to ensure that every case file is properly presented to the commissioner, to be presented to the director of public prosecution.
And some cases have been unsolved for years. No need to worry, family members. The department has those cold cases in mind.
Once there is no active case, officers are required to look at the other cases, those that we've not solved, to see what information in there that we may have overlooked that we can go back at. As it relates to missing persons, we know that the law says that they're not considered deceased until the 7 years had passed. And so we work with families to see what information we get. I can tell you that there's one particular family who every year asks that this lady asks that her son's photo be placed in the media for any information. I had a conversation with her last night, and she says, though I don't feel the connection anymore, I still would like his photo to go up for this very last year. So the officers don't take a break when there is nothing happening. There is always work to be done in the Criminal Investigation Department, and they know that.
One major issue Knowles has is the case of missing persons who are not actually missing.
It is discouraging and it's taxing on our resources, because what we want people to understand is that if you want to go away and be alone, at least tell someone in the family that I'm leaving for the weekend and I'm safe, but I'll be back on Sunday, or I'll be back whenever. We find that a lot of the young persons are running away just so that, for whatever reason, but we still have to consider them missing because relatives cannot find where they are. So we have to consider them as missing until we could replace them with their loved ones. So yes, it is taxing because we could use the resources, our time, into matters of real importance, not just those who seek to be away from their family by choice. But we had a considerable amount of persons who were reported missing, as you can see from our media drops. And more, of course, I would think that about 90% of those we've returned to their relatives. Our biggest concern, or the concern really goes up, especially when we see elderly who are missing. And then, of course, recently we had an elderly person missing, and that did not turn out favorable for the family.
And as I did with the 4 previous chief superintendents, we'll be going deep inside the mind of Chief Superintendent Shanta Knowles. She was born in Eleuthera. She'll be talking about all that coming up later on this week. And I must say, Makushla, I really appreciate those ladies sitting down and talking to them, watching them put on their makeup and get ready for the big show. It's been a pleasure. Looking forward to doing a few more.
Now, I understand, just as you teased just now, there's another part to this story, another 1 to 2 segments for that. Give us a better idea of what we can expect coming up.
Well, coming up next, like I indicated, we'll be talking to her about her roots there in Eleuthera. She'll be speaking about her family. She'll be talking about, that she gets to work pretty early. Where does she find time for herself? Because as a charge of the criminal investigation department. You know, her phone goes off every hour of the day. She'll be telling us about that. It's a very interesting. Shanta Knowles really doing a good job over there so far at the criminal investigation department. Like I say, I'm enjoying the time with the ladies, just like I'm enjoying my time on the set this morning with you. I'll interview you soon one day when you reach that point.